Well, hello there. Welcome to my show, Book Talk with Cody Sandel. I am your host, Cody Sandel. I want to welcome everybody watching live and everybody who's watching on the replay. In fact, I think I usually get more watches on the replay because, not everybody's available when I'm available. So I understand that. I don't want to do pre-recorded videos. Well, I like to do the lives because even though I do some preparation, I like to just kind of talk off the top of my head as opposed to like reading a script or whatever. This is a kind of a secondary thing to what I'm really doing, which is spending my time writing books and marketing them. And what I'm doing with this channel is sharing that journey with you. So you may be an author yourself, or you might just be someone who likes to read the books. Anyway, this channel is for everybody. If you notice that there's something wrong with my eye, it looks like I got beat up. I did. I got beat up by a tree. We are right in the middle of allergy season here in Nashville, Tennessee, which is kind of a powder bowl. Um, it would seem like we're surrounded by large hills, and then all the pollen just kind of rests in here. And I'm beginning to get what I believe is going to be my perennial pus bag. Where it's funny, like I woke up this weekend and all of this was sore. It felt like I literally felt like I got punched in the eye, like the bone socket, all that around there was swollen and bruised. And I've been taking antihistamines, and now this bag is beginning to fill full of pus. And I think it did the same thing last year. I didn't write it down, so I can't remember exactly when this happened, but last year I had the same thing, and I got quite a big of bag of pus, which I was actually worried that was never going to go away, but it did, and this will do. And I'm taking antihistamines. It's got me kind of drowsy, but I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there and getting stuff done. In fact, I'm a little late because I was going to do this on Sunday night, but I was so tired I didn't want to come on and just be kind of a drag. So I waited till today, and even today, with all the antihistamines, it was hard to get up out of bed. But I'm up. I got my workout in, got some work done, and now we're going to do the show. Now, if you are an author, or if you're a social media marketer of some kind in the digital world, you may have heard people talk about getting an email list, and I've been hearing this quite a bit from a lot of the gurus, the book marketing gurus I listen to. David Gogren's one, Brian Cohen's another one. Is it Dave Chesum? Is another one, and all of them are saying if you don't have an email list, you're fooling yourself. And I have been resistant to this because, first of all, and this is one of the traps that a lot of us fall into. You don't think of your own perceptions. For example, I do belong to some people's email lists, and I do enjoy them, but a lot of them just feel like work. That I got plenty of emails to read already, let alone someone else's, somebody trying to sell me stuff with their email. But one of the things that they say, and I think there's some truth to this, is that you own your email list. So, like, for example, I have over 3,000 followers on Facebook. I have, I think, 154 followers on Amazon that follow my author. Please give me a follow, by the way, on my Amazon author page, and on Facebook and Twitter. And here, a like and a follow for sure. I have maybe 450 something people that follow me on YouTube, but all this is borrowed ground. I am one gaff away from being from having my YouTube channel taken. I mean, it's not that dramatic, but you can have your YouTube channel taken away from you. You can have your Twitter. If you have a big Twitter following, you can have that taken for you. God forbid I could do something where I get my Amazon account taken away from me. It doesn't mean it's the end of the road, because you still are you. You cannot be canceled. I mean, there's nothing that I do is going to get me in trouble with anybody. I'm pretty a benign guy. I'm sure my opinions probably don't match the either extreme end of like the political chaos that we live in. I think I am cancelable on both sides. But still, having an email list, and what do we mean by that? Well, let's just say this: having an email list is something that you own, that no one can fire. No one can fire you from your email list, and no one can fire you from being your own franchise, your own brand. And that's something I'm really big on when it comes to book marketing. There are people out there that are like, oh no, AI is going to take my job. Well, if you're just a voice narrator, yeah, because I've already gotten AI voice narrations on my books. Artists, there's a lot of things out there, but in the end, what it can't do, what AI cannot do, is take away your brand, and be you. And that's why it's very important as an author, or whatever it is that you do, is to be something that's not replicable. Can I say that word? Replicable. Yeah, that's a tough one. And so I really believe in that. And part of that is you have to build a following, and you have to build that brand, and you have to service your customers and give them what they want. And I heard there's a guy I follow on YouTube, and I'll just say I don't always agree with him. In fact, I probably vote differently from him, but I like his points on things. Adam Post. And Adam Post has a YouTube channel, and he says one of the things he says, and I don't know if he came up with this or someone else came up, and he's just parodying. Well, what is a brand? A brand is a promise. So, for example, when you buy a can of Coca-Cola, there's a promise there that it's going to taste this certain way that you're familiar and you like. When you buy, when you buy, I'll go American. When you buy a Ford, there's a certain promise of the quality. At Ford, quality is job one. Any of these things are when it comes to writing. If you buy a Stephen King novel, that's Stephen King is a brand. I'm telling you right now, there are probably thousands of people writing better books than Stephen King. Doesn't mean Stephen King's a bad writer. He's a very good writer. He's one of my favorite, but he's a brand. So instead of going and trying out, which you should, of course, but when you want to take home a book that's Stephen King's a brand. You know that if you buy one of his books, there's a certain expectation of quality and what you're going to get in that book. And so that's what you need to strive for as a writer. But that only works if people know who you are and who your brand is. And so there's a lot of things you have to do in marketing. And we live in a golden age. I'm telling you right now, we're going to look back at this and say this was the golden age of the independent creator, because no longer can the big corporations and the governments hold on to the gates and keep people from making movies. YouTube is surpassing broadcast television. There are people there with YouTube channels right now that are outperforming NBC and CBS and all that kind of stuff for primetime viewing. Books, it's getting to the point now where the big publishing houses have to compete with little guys like me, who went around the agents and around the editors and around all those people and said, you know what, I got a book that's worth reading, and put our books out there and found an audience that said, yeah, he's right. This is a book worth reading. So having an email list. And what is an email list? Okay, so it's quite simply a list of people's emails who are interested in keeping up with the latest with your brand. And you got to be very careful, because there's a lot of laws. And I don't mean like laws that are going to get you thrown in jail or things like that, but there's a lot of anti-spam laws and regulations and things like that you have to be careful. So one of the things with an email list is you got to make sure that everybody on it wants your emails. And so that's very important to get signups. And even, and I'll be getting into this myself as I go. But make sure that everybody on your list are people who want to be there. And that's important too, because the truth is, you're not going to sell things to people who don't want your stuff. So you want to make sure, and as an author, there's a lot of people that may just have one, they write one book and then they mark that, they check that off their list, and then they go on to learn how to play guitar or something else. But if you're an author and you're going to be writing books and you're going to be constantly putting them out, you're going to want to an email list. So I decided to do that. And this year, let's see, I just put out my fifth novel, The Prussian Prince, and I it's become more and more apparent that I need to start this email list thing, and I decided this is the year to start doing it. And I think I've heard Brian Cohen say, the best time to start something was 5 years ago, but the second best time to start something is now. And so, and I've also done his launch, his launch workshop or whatever he calls it, lecture and book launch lecture. And he says, okay, work on your launch now, but what you really want to do is start setting things up so the next launch is better than this one. And so that's what I'm doing. I want to get this email list out. I had a book, David Gaughran, and let's see if I can pull this up here. He's got a book here. Share screen, and let's do window. Here we go. I'm going to share this. Okay. And I think David won't mind me sharing this because he let's see, I just want to, let me get it up here. No, not remove. Dang it. Add to the stage. Sorry. Okay, let me hide this. Add to stage. There we go. Okay. The reason why I feel very free to show this is because he offers this for free. I think if you sign up for his email list, he's got a couple free books. It's like a 150-page book, and if you're interested in his book, you can either look up his name here or send me a message. You can in the comments below, whatever, if you want the link to sign up for his email list and get the free stuff. You can. So let's see here. I'm gonna go back to this books. All right. So this is his book, and I decided, okay, this is the year I'm going to do this. So I'm going to get his book, and I'm going to listen to what he says. But come on, David, where is your table of contents here? All right, he's not going to make it easy, is he? I think there's a way of looking up table of contents on this. I probably should have started. Oh, here we go. See, this is why I cannot stand that they hide things. Okay, so his table of contents is author platform 101, building a winning website. I'm not doing that, and then a powerful email list. And according to David, I'll just say this: a lot of this advice is for people who have gone quote unquote wide, in which they're selling books on multiple platforms. I'm only selling books through Amazon and a little bit out of my trunk, but it's not my intention to really get deeply involved in direct sales. That being said, if you want a direct book from me that's signed, send me a message and we'll work it out. I just ask that you pay $3 for shipping if you're in the US, and if you're in the UK or somewhere else, we'll work that out. But David's book here is let me go back to that. Just wanted to make sure we were up here. He says, I don't want to turn this into a 10,000 mistakes, the David Graham story. Okay, yeah, he's very self-effacing. I will say this about David. He's Irish, and he writes like an Irishman. He's very literary, and so there's a lot of wittiness that you have to kind of shuffle through to get to the meat here. And but he's got some what seems like, and here's his benefits of a powerful list. So mostly this is selling this to you. And I was looking through this to get, okay, how to build your mailing list the right way. The very best resource to learn is a Newsletter Ninja by Tammy Breck. And I almost bought her book, and I'll tell you, I'll get into it. I ended up buying someone else's book, but I almost bought her book, and I'm not recommending that you don't. I just decided that this other route was a little better for me. So then he goes kind of through these steps, like, okay, here's your best way to learn is to learn through Newsletter Ninja, which is available on Amazon. We'll take a look at that too, and then get a domain name email address. Okay, and then he suggests with that is a website called Namecheap, which is where I went. And then he says, get a mailer light to manage your list. And see, that's where I didn't understand. And this is where it's very confusing. And I mean, I literally wanted to cry a few times. It was so hard. And then there's some other things that he's telling you to do and Book Magnet. But I wanted just very simply, all I wanted to do was set up a way in which I could create an email list, collecting emails, and then being able to send out an email to my list. Like if I have a special, like for example, right now, and if you're in the US right now, between now and this Friday, Blood for Blood at Nashville is only 99 cents for the Kindle version. If you're in the UK, it'll be 99 pence the following week. But I wanted to be able to, okay, get a list and then let people know on my list, hey, this book is only 99 cents on Kindle, or hey, in I think 2 Saturdays, not next Saturday, but the following Saturday, I'll be talking at a group in Mississippi. So things like that. But most importantly, when the French Fiasco, which is book number 6, which I'm writing right now, I want to when I'm ready to put the pre-order out, which will probably be around the end of this year or early next year. I want to be able to email to that list, hey, this pre-order is available now if you're interested in the new book. And then when the new book comes out, to let people know. And one of the okay, I'll give you a perfect example. I know for a fact I have a friend named Elmore. Lloyd Elmore Jr. And I always get his name screwed up because there's this Elmore Leonard, who's a famous writer. And so both their names occupy the same little pigeonhole in my head. But Lloyd said that he doesn't have, so give Lloyd a follow on Amazon because he says he doesn't have enough followers for it to show. That being said, Amazon sent me a notification that Lloyd had a new book out, which was great. But I have more followers, allegedly, according to Lloyd, because you have to have X amount of followers before they start telling you how many followers you have, which I don't know why that would make any sense. So he can't see how many he has. I can. I have 154. But somehow Amazon never sent my followers an email. And I know this because Laura and Lloyd both follow me, and both of them said they didn't get an email. So, his followers get an email that he's got a new book out, but mine didn't. But that's once again, you're living on borrowed ground. So instead of hoping that Amazon does me right, well, if I have my own email list, then I can send my own followers an email with saying that the pre-order is available or the book's now available, and also that things like Blood for Blood is now 99 cents in the US. So I decided that this was the year I was going to get that started. And I also decided that there are many different philosophies. I don't want to do a newsletter where I'm constantly like, hi guys, spring is in the air and da da da. Hey, I just got a new cat, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to waste people's times. And I know that some people say it's good to do that, to show that you're human and all that. I don't know, because partially because I don't like it either. Like, I don't like reading people's newsletters and hearing like their own personal stuff. I just want to know what's new or anything that's actionable I can do. So that is kind of the way I've gone with this. So I decided to get my own email started. The first place I went to look is we'll stop sharing that. This is the book. I decided I was going to follow David Goggins' advice. And unfortunately, in his book, he doesn't, he tells you get this service and then get this service and then get this service and then this is how you should use it. But I really needed like a click by click thing of telling me what I'm supposed to do because I'm dumb. And let's see, share screen. So I went to the book he suggested, and this is Newsletter Ninja, which I hear is probably one of the best books out there as far as what to do if you're starting an email list. And it's only $4.99 here on Amazon. It looks she's got 4.7 out of 5 stars with a 1,471. That's amazing rating for that many people. That means everybody really likes it a lot. So I was looking through the preview because I was really confused because David's advice I felt was kind of vague. It's kind of more like what to do once you got it. But I looked at hers and I want to see if I can see if I can find it where she says, but she somewhere along the line in the amount of preview I'm able to look at, she says this is not a click by click how to start your email list. So I, in the end, did not buy this book. But I thought maybe once I get it up and running, but I need to understand how to actually get it up and running. So the first thing I did is I went to MailerLite and I got an account there. Now, what is MailerLite? They're the ones who manage your, let's see if I can pull this up. They're the ones who manage your email list. And I didn't understand at first. I thought I could just go to MailerLite, set up an account, and start mailing from there. But no, you have to have. Oh, let me get this set up here first so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll remove that. Go share screen. Share screen. I know this is very disjointed, and I probably should have done a better job putting this together. Okay, so let me just come back here and make sure you can see. Yeah, okay. So, and by the way, here's a little bit of a spoiler. I got my email list up and running here. So I went to MailerLite, and you can get a free account. It's free up to your first 1,000 subscribers. Now, I think I have 5. I have 7, but one of them's me and one of them's Laura, so we can kind of look at things that we send out. But reading through it, it says you can't use a Gmail or a free site anymore because apparently a lot of these email servers are trying to weed out spam. So you need an official like business email. And so in order to do that, you need to get a domain. And so I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? So that's the wrong thing here. Oh, wait a minute. Share screen. Yeah, let's go back to, no, let's go to window. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. That's email. But so following David's advice, I went to Namecheap. And Namecheap is a place where you can get a domain. I went with, let's see here. I went with, I decided, and the suggestion is always to do your name, like Cody C. Engdahl, author name, or at authorname.com. So I could be like Cody C. Engdahl at codycengdahl.com. I decided to go with Engdahl House. So but I got a domain. So I got one on special. I think I'm paying about 99 cents for it, or somewhere maybe a little bit more, about $12 a year to register engdahlhouse.com. But now I got my domain and I got my MailerLite account, and I can't seem to make those two fit together. And I couldn't figure out what I was missing. And I asked a friend of mine. Well, I'll just say Matthew Harvey, who's a well-known author in England, and he writes a lot of like Anglo-Saxon Viking era stuff, but he's got a Western out, which, by the way, I got an advanced copy of that I'm going to be reviewing as soon as I finish the book I'm reading now. And he's like, yeah, you should have gotten an email address that came with your domain. And I'm like, what am I missing? So it took me a long time. I won't take you through the whole boring process, but eventually what happened was I realized that Namecheap was selling things a la carte. So I had to and they're kind of like an aggregator of all these things, like buying domains and getting an email, an inbox. So I had to pay separately for the email address. So like I have to pay X amount of money for the domain name and then X amount of money for the inbox with the email address, which I was beginning like, God, I didn't want to have to sink a whole lot of money into this because I don't know if it's going to make me any money. But I decided, okay, just whatever it is, pay to get it and do a good job of trying to build it. And if it's after a year, it's not really working out for you, you're allowed to quit. Now, I think it's going to work out, to be honest with you. So then I paid to get an email address, and my email address is, and don't send me emails to this because if you want to send me an email, my email address is codycengdahl@gmail.com. That's the email that I look at all the time. But MailerLite won't allow me to use that to email a list. I have to have like a professional work email to do that, like a commercial email. So my commercial email is codyc@engdahlhouse.com, which I think is really cool. I like it that it's engdahlhouse.com. I finally got it put together. I gotta tell you, it is extreme. I think I'm pretty smart. I mean, I make fun of myself being stupid all the time. And I'm usually pretty smart when it comes to technical things, but I really, really struggled of getting this set up. And I had tech support on both the Namecheap side and the MailerLite side. So just to do a really quick review, MailerLite is where you get your domain, which is for me, engdahlhouse.com. It's where you get your mailbox and your email address, which is codyc@engdahlhouse.com. So those two things I had to pay for separately, but I was able to get those at Namecheap, namecheap.com, whatever. And then MailerLite is, I guess, the company that handles it for me. So I had to configure that domain name and that email box to my MailerLite account. And MailerLite is like MailChimp, and I've done MailChimp. I used to do social media for the Nashville Old Time String Band Association. So I was familiar with MailChimp, but all the advice was telling me, don't do MailChimp, do MailerLite. So that's what I did. And MailerLite is free up to your first 1,000 email list. I figure if I have a good email list of people who really want emails from me and I get to 1,000, it's going to be worth paying for sure. So let's go to the next share thing here. Let's do hide this because it's in my way. We will do present. Okay. Sorry, little share screen. There we go. And we're going to do this time to window, and we'll do, is it this or this is where I just was? Oh, I see. It's anything that's in Safari. That's right. Okay. So let me just make sure I'm back on. All right. So I finally got everything set up. And not only that, but I also went I had an event and I put out a, um, a, a pad of paper and said, I'm starting an email list. Please give me your email. So when I was in Memphis, I got 5. I didn't really push it that hard because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it done or not, but I got 5 emails. And then I did a talk last Thursday in Germantown, and I got 1 email from there. So I have 6 emails, I believe, that are not me and Laura. And I said, okay, this week, this weekend, I'm going to put out my first email. And, I'm learning as I go, but in baby steps. But I wanted to make sure that I got something out. And so let's go back here. Yeah. So this is it right here. This is the last thing I put out. This is my dashboard with a MailerLite, and it's this this email here that I constructed in MailerLite. And I think there's 7 people. And it was really interesting is that there were some options. There was one that said send now. There was another one that said send later. So here's the email, by the way. One that says, I'm going to come back up here on camera. One that said send later. So I could decide what time I wanted it to go out. Another option was send by time zone. So if I have different people in different time zones, it'll hold off. It'll detect where those people are, and then send to each of those time zones at a certain time. And then the 4th option was AI. This is kind of cool and creepy, but the AI option. That's my alarm. Ignore that. Was that it was going to analyze every inbox that was that was on my mailer list and find out what was the best time to send to that particular person. So I went with that. I think AI, I would never use it for creative. I would never use it for writing, outside of just helping me with the edit, like proofreading. Like I used Grammarly to look through my my work to catch typos. But marketing, yeah. If AI can help me get better results and get my product to people who want it, I'm all for that. So let's get back here. So I put this out. Was it Saturday or was it yesterday? Yeah. So Blood for Blood at Nashville is only 99 cents through Friday. 3/29/24 for Kindle and e-readers in the U.S. on Amazon. And then this is a billboard I created in Canva, and I use it as for ads that I run on Meta as well. And then you scroll down, and it says only 99 cents for Kindle version. Right here it says through Friday, March 29, 2024, U.S. only. And then this is Engdahl House. And then there are links to my Amazon author page, my YouTube page, my Facebook, and my Twitter. Now, the YouTube and the Amazon page work. For some reason, the links aren't working for Facebook and Twitter. I'll have to fix that. Here's unsubscribe. That's by law. I have to give them the option to unsubscribe if they're like, yeah, I don't want this. And I've heard someone say, and I think this is a really good point. They're like, look, it's good. You want people to unsubscribe because the people who unsubscribe are not your client customers anyway. So if they don't want the emails from you, it's not like they're going to be buying your books because you're forcing them to take your emails. You want, and plus, if I have to pay for more than 1,000, well, I want to make sure that I got 1,000 good emails, 1,000 people who are interested in getting my emails and are interested in the things I'm selling. So, I was able to create this button, get my book for 98 cents. And yeah, cool. Look at that. I click on the link, and let me just make sure it's working on the film side. And voila, it takes you right there. It takes you right there. And then you can see that it's only 99 cents right now in the US and $0 on Kindle Unlimited and all the different price points. And it's funny because sometimes I've noticed this. I'm running on 99 cents for the ebook, but sometimes people follow that link and they say, well, you know what? I would like to have this as paperback or a hardcover, and I'm willing to pay for it. So they pay full price for the um, for the for that product, and yeah, why not? So isn't that great? So I'm going to show you what it looks like on this side here. So I'm going to go to my this is my own personal inbox here, and this is what it looks like. So I put myself, and Laura said to me, "Go ahead and put me on your list." And I said, "Okay, great." And so when I sent it out, and I used the AI, so it was really weird when I clicked on allow AI to analyze each name on your list and decide when it's best to send it to them, and send it to them that way. I clicked that, and it said, "Okay, please wait while we analyze." So it went and checked out all those email addresses, and figured out what was the best time that whoever owns that address is more likely to open. And then after about a half hour, it said, "Okay, we're beginning to send, and we'll send it to the whole list within the next 24 hours. But it's going to be judicious of when it sends to people." So this is what it looks like when it came to my email, my own personal email box. It says Cody, or it says Engdahl House, and then it has this 99-cent Blood for Blood at Nashville. And I decided to lead with the price point, because that's the big thing. It's only 99 cents for this whole novel. And so you click on it, and there we go. And that's what it looks like when it comes in the inbox. And I don't know if Laura's got hers yet or not, but, and then on this side here this is the, I'll close that. All right. And so far the report, let's see, review part. It looks like 4 people have gotten it so far. We've had 75% open rate, and 1 click. That click is me. CTOR click through open rate is, I guess, 33%. Let's look at this. So I think it still has to send it to 3. Yeah, sent 20 hours ago. So there's 4 out of the 7 have been sent. I'm hoping it's going to send the rest. And we've had 3 of that. We've had 3 open. We had 1 hard bounce, which means the email, the person wrote it down in handwriting, and I may have misread it. So I try to adjust it to see. So we'll see if the next one bounces again. If it keeps bouncing back, then I'll just delete that one and make room. I mean, I got a long way to go before I get to 1,000. No one unsubscribed. There were no spam complaints. Soft bounce means maybe there was something wrong and it couldn't deliver. But I mean, this is just really exciting, and I'm very excited about this. If you've been watching this long, you might be wondering, how do I get on your email list? And I'm flattered if you have. The next step for me is I have to build a landing page in which I have to build a mechanism in which people can sign up for my email list. And MailerLite does provide this. So I can build a page where people put in their email information and sign up for the list. And excuse me, that's my next step in doing this. I wanted to start emailing right away because I have things to say. And like I said, I'm not going to put out stupid, hey guys, beautiful spring. Laura and I just got a new cat. By the way, we just did. And if you saw the thumbnail, that's our new cat, Shotzi, who's in the lower right corner. No, I'm only going to send, even though some people say you should do that, I feel like I don't want to waste anybody's time. And if I do, they say you should do it because, to be human, to show them your real side, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, everybody's pressed for time. So I figure I'm only going to send emails if I have something that's actionable, like this book is on sale, or this book has been released, or, anything like that. Or I'm going to be speaking at this event. But I might start like put, the inverted pyramid where I put the important information at the top, and then underneath I might add, like, here's what's going on with me, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of what I'm beginning to do or trying to do with this channel, which is there's a little bit of introductory and then try to talk about the thing that I want to talk about. And then maybe say, here's some other things going on, which we're about to get to pretty soon. So the next step in this is that I have to create a landing page. First of all, if you're watching this right now and you want to get on my mailing list, just send me a message, either in the comments or the chat or direct messaging or whatever, what your email address is, and I'll add you to the list. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that through MailerLite, I will be creating a landing page and then sharing that on all my social media and putting it in my books, especially the ebooks, so that you can go to that page and sign up for my email. And then also every time I do an event, I'm going to bring a pad of paper and have people sign up there. I'm hoping that by the time I get to the French Fiasco, I'd like to have 100 emails. I think that's a reasonable 100 emails in about a year. I think that's a reasonable goal, and that's it. So I think the right now the marketing plan is this: that I'm going to continue on with Amazon ads. I think that should be the base of it. My Amazon ads are really beginning to spend now, and I think I finally need to get past like the initial free 5-day author ad challenge by Brian Cohen and figure out what is the hang on a second. Sorry. What is the next step? Because I know that that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do this. Put it back here. Sorry. There we go. Remove. So I need to clean that up. And I'll tell you, I almost got a job with Brian Cohen. He had a job opening for an ad agency account manager where I would have done ads for like authors that bring in over $6,000 in royalties a month. And I got through 3 levels of the interviews, and then they finally told me thanks, no thanks, which is fine. Here we go. Share screen. And let's do window, Chrome. Yeah, we'll do that. Come back here. Which is fine. It actually kind of reminded me of this, is that once again, I don't want to make it because people gave me handouts. I got to build it for myself. So that's fine. I mostly wanted to come to work for him because I would have been trained beyond the initial level that you learn in the 5-day author ad challenge to become an expert, so that not only can I do it for clients, but I could do it for myself. And so now I got to do it for myself. Now that I have my email list started, then I thought, okay, I'm going to get some expert advice. David Goggin just refers people to, other than a little write-up in one of his books, he suggests this book here. I looked at it, and then I looked at Brian Cohen, who, like I said, I almost went to work for. His book, let me see if it should be listed here, because it's very similar. There's some email. Well, I don't want to do I know. I'm probably going to regret this. Digital orders. I just ordered another box of, here we go. And then I looked at Brian Cohen's book. And I bought this when I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to get the job, because they told me they were going to let me know by the end of last week if they were going to hire me or not. And I had a free credit, a $3 credit, and I was looking at Cohen's book and I was looking at Tammy's book, and Cohen is 5 stars or 4.8 stars on, but only 44, where she's got like over 1,400 views. But I also looked at his is newer, I think hers came out in 18, where his came out in 22. And then the final thing is that I've been really following him a lot. I've been following his um, podcast, almost like a stalker. I've been following his podcast. I've been following him on all social media. I believe in his advice. I believe it's coming from the right place. So I ended up buying this book here, and I haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm determined to get through this book and really getting the email thing rolling during the first 5 months of my launch. So I keep track of like the first 5 months of every launch and compare it to the first 5 months of the other launches I've had, to see if I'm doing better or worse, or if I detect any patterns. Once I'm done with the first 5 months of the Prussian Prince, then I'm hoping to have this book read, and I'll do a review. I'll do a review on it, and I'll give him 5 stars. I love Brian, but I almost bought his other book, and I was in between the two. But I was, I didn't know if I was going to be hired or not. So let's see here. Yeah, here we go. I almost bought this book here. And but I didn't want to buy it because I might be getting that information for free if he had hired me, because I would have gone through training. So I decided, okay, I'll get the email book first, and then if he hires me, I won't need anything. But if he doesn't hire me, then I'll buy this book here. So my plan is, I'm going to finish out. I think I got 3 more months of this first 5 month launch for the Prussian Prince. And like I said, I'm getting to the point now where I think I'm spending too much on advertising. And it's not that I'm spending too much. It's just that I'm not spending it well enough where I'm making a big enough profit to make it worth it. And I know that the 5-day free author ad challenge is only like the first step. I believe, and I know that he doesn't probably want to say this, but I believe that, because when you do the author ad challenge, it's to try to get people into his year-long author ad school, which costs several $100s, but you have actual people that you can talk to every week, and there's a lot of hands-on hand-holding going on. I'm not that kind of learner. So I'm hoping that this book here is basically that course, but I just don't have to spend $400 and be in Zoom calls with a bunch of other people. So that's kind of the plan there. What else do I got going on? Well, we have, I got to check my messages here. I got a message. My dad's not feeling well. What is going on with me? So let's do this. Let me take this down, and we'll do stop screen share, and then present, and share screen, and then we'll do window. And I don't think I'm sharing too much here. I'll share my calendar. Yeah, so what's going on with me? So right now, let's see, Blood for Blood is 99 cents in the US. I have a talk on the 6th of April, and that is going to be at, it's a Sons of Confederate Veterans group. Hopefully it's a big one, because I'm going to be driving quite a bit to get out to it. And probably like a 6 or 8 hour drive, because it's pretty deep into the state of Mississippi. And let me pull this up here so I can see it better. Let's see here. Laura's going to be out. Yeah, it's in Brandon, Mississippi. So if you're interested in that, just let me know, and I'll get you the information. I'll probably, let's see. Yeah, probably starting Monday, I'll start running ads to that. I mean, I won't run like paid ads, but I'll put something on my social media. So if you're near Brandon, Mississippi, and you want to come down, it's these are always open to the public, and it's don't be scared by Sons of Confederate Veterans. It's not neo Confederates, all that kind of stuff. It's just people whose great great grandfather served in the Confederate Army, as most men of fighting age were required to do. It was literally like conscription. They had gangs that going out grabbing guys that were avoiding the draft. The Confederacy, the first draft in U.S. history was the Confederacy. Now the Yankees did it too, but the Confederates were the first to get it started. That's all it is. They're usually pretty nice guys, very opening. They all know that I'm a Yankee. I make fun of myself, and they all know that my ancestor fought for the Union. There's no problem at all. They're not racist or nothing like that. They're just people that are interested in history. That is Saturday the 6th. So if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, just watch me on social media. I'll be talking about it. And then I'm going to be, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I'll be at Masker Station with my musical partner Paul Hart. He's he's a banjo player, and we'll be playing old time music at those events. And I think that's the most immediate. There's probably some other things coming up here. Let's see here, my gig list. In May. Well, I don't want to say it out loud. Well, I guess I'll say, I just won't put it in writing. I'm going to be on I've been invited to come on a podcast that I'm really excited about. Let me stop. Okay. And I'll stop. All right. Yeah. I guess I won't say what it is. I'll just say that there's a big podcast that I'm a big fan of, and it's run by two really big authors who I am in awe of and am a fan of, and they have invited me to come on the show. And the people who are on the show are like Bernard Cornwell was one of their guests. If that gives you a scope of how big the show is, when that comes out, you damn well better believe that I will be putting that out all over the place. As far as my writing is concerned, I just started chapter 3, and I'm going to be working on it pretty much when we get done here. Chapter 3 of my book, The French Fiasco. And just like every single book, I start like I'm intimidated, I'm scared. I have lots of ideas, and oh my God, am I going to pull it off or not? But I got to say, I wrote the first 2 chapters. I like it. I think it starts. I mean, one of the things I always try to do is start with action, like that every chapter has something happening in it and pulls you into the story. And so I think this absolutely starts big, just like the other ones have. Chapter 2, once again, things are happening, plot points are happening. There's going to be some returns of a lot of if you've read through my series, there's a lot of characters you're going to recognize. And from all 5 previous books, the other thing that I feel like I've done really well is there's a fine line. So it's always, as an author, it's always best to write as a series, because series, it's like built-in marketing. Like it's one thing to put out independent individual books like Stephen King, but he's got such a big name that anything that's got his name on it's going to sell. But series really sell, because if you do it right and people like the first book, they will they'll buy the second book and the third. And I'm lucky because they do, and I see it all the time. Every time I see The Perils of Perryville sell on Amazon, I'm so happy, because that means they read Rampage on the River and they like it. And if they liked Rampage on the River and they go and they read The Perils of Perryville, I'm pretty sure they're going to read through the rest of the series, because each book just gets better and better, in my opinion. But there's the there's a pitfall to that, and that is not everybody wants to go back to book. Like I've got 5 novels now. Yeah, 5 novels. Not everybody wants to go back and read 4 novels just so they can read The Prussian Prince. So first of all, I put it on the back and in the preface that you do not have to read the other novels to enjoy this book. And then I write each book, even though it's a continuation of the overall story, I write each book as if the reader has never read anything from me before. But I try to do it in a way that isn't boring or annoying to people who have read everything. So you have to kind of Goldilocks what you have to decide what's important for the reader to understand while they're reading. And then you have to figure out a way to get that into the story without it feeling too contrived. And I feel like just enough information. And if they want to know more, they can go back and read the stuff or, oh, how did that happen? But they have, so in The French Fiasco, there are things I have to explain in the very beginning, so that you understand who the characters are and what their motivations are. And there's going to be things happening throughout the book as well that you kind of need to know what happened before, so that when those things happen, you'll understand the significance of it. But like I said, you got to do it in a way that doesn't feel like you're doing it, and not like a exposition dump or anything like that. So I feel like I've done that very, very clearly and very well in the first 2 chapters. Plus, make those exciting and have adventure in them, and plus, it really launches the story that we're getting into with the new book. So, anyway, all that to say, I'm very excited about it. My writing technique or scheme is that I try to write, when I'm writing a book, 500 words every day, Monday through Friday, and then when I finish a chapter, I always, when I sit down and write, I always read what I wrote the last time and make any kind of spot changes or corrections right there and then. So I like to edit as I go, because otherwise I feel like if you wait till you get your first draft, it's a nightmare. It's too much work to go back and do open heart surgery on this big, long thing. I'd rather fix things as I go. So I read the last thing I wrote, make any changes I feel necessary at that time, and then write my next 500 words, or it usually turns out to be anywhere between 500 to, I think, 2,000 words. If I'm hot, I'm going to keep writing. And then when I finish a chapter on the weekend, I will put that individual chapter through my full editing, where I read through it. Then I have Siri read through it, where I just listen to someone else's voice read it out loud, because I catch a lot of things there. I run it through Grammarly, make all the fixes, and then I insert it into the main document. And I also send Laura a copy, so that if I lose anything, the whole book exists in her email. And then I go on and on until I finish the book. And then I put the whole book through my editing process of using, either Siri reading out loud, me reading it, using Grammarly, all those things to really get it fixed. And then after I spend about a month with it, then I have Laura read through it to check for grammar mistakes or typos. And then I send it to my mom, and she catches a few things, and then it's ready for the big time. One thing I've kind of come to a conclusion is that the 500 word a day thing it's just a minimum. Because if I say I'm going to write 2,000 words every day, I'll quit. I'll do it for a while, but it's not sustainable. And sure, there are days where I could write probably 10,000 words, but if I know that I only have to do 500, then I'm more likely to do it. And if you stick to that strictly, 500 words a day, 5 times a week is 2,500 words a week. My chapters are usually around 3,000 words, so it's almost a chapter. And then that there's usually about 4 full weeks in a month. So that's like 10,000 words. No, 8,000 words in a month, right? No, 10,000 words in a month. After about 6 months, 6 or 7 months, 8 months, you got 80,000 words. That is my goal. I have a book that's 124,000 words. I got a book that's 119,000 words. That's too much. Those books needed to be that long, but I really want to get into the 80,000 word, where I'm like 80 to 90,000 words. I think that is the perfect Goldilocks. And case in point, my friend, her husband, who's a Marine, read my book, The Prussian Prince, and he sent me a message about how much he liked it. And he's like, damn it, I was supposed to sleep and I stayed up all night reading it, but it was the best 4 hours of reading I've had. And I mean, I was really, especially a Marine, because I was like, a modern day active Marine is reading my military novels and liking them. So I feel like that's pretty good. I'll take that as an endorsement right there. That's pretty good endorsement right there. So anyway, the other part of that, I thought, am I limiting myself by saying 500 words? Because there's some days where there's so much I got to do. And so if I get past the 500 words and I'm not feeling particularly hot, it's okay for me to stop. And maybe if there's more time in the day, but I rarely ever come back to it. And I thought about this, and I realized it might actually work in my favor that I am pacing myself, because sometimes I get to a certain point where the well goes dry and I need to step away from it to think things out. And sometimes like the plot develops in my head as I go through. So if I'm writing too fast, I'm making decisions too fast. And sometimes it takes me a while to process and to retell the story to myself. I always tell Laura what my plot is going to be. Because I find when I talk it out to her, it develops and develops, and new ideas come into my head. And so my nose is broken, and this is non-mirror, and so I've tried to fix my nose in the image. So I find that really works for me. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I will have that email, a sign up for that email list coming out soon. If you want to get on my email and you don't want to wait for me to put it out or afraid that you're going to miss it, just send me a message and say, hey, I'd like to be on your email list, and I'll put you on my email list. And like I said, it's going to be, I run 99 cent and 99 pence in the UK and the US specials on Amazon. So I'll use it to announce that, and to announce like talks, like I'm going to be speaking in Mississippi a week from Saturday, and when I have new releases and new pre-orders. So, and by the way, if you, I could really use some stars. So if you can give me a 5-star review or however many stars you think I deserve, I would really like that. If you just want to do the rating, just the stars, that's okay. But if you do, it's even better if you put a review with it. Your review can be 2 cents. Love the book. Period. You're done. You're done. Love the book. That's only 3 words you have to type. Excuse me. Anyway, I love you. Not only for me, but also your favorite authors out there, especially living authors who are active. We need reviews. We need stars. I do it. I'm constantly reading other people's work. I'm finishing up a book now. I'll do a review for it. I can't remember her name. Mayo. It's The Last Prince of Mexico. Interesting book. I read it for just kind of background for the book I'm writing right now. And then I'll be reading Matthew Harpy's The Dark Frontier. I have an advanced copy. I'm very excited. This is a guy who writes about Anglo-Saxons and Vikings, and now he's written a book about cowboys. I'm all in. All right, guys, I love you, and keep reading and keep writing.